Okay. So
Getting a bit of an echo there.
Yeah.
Who is the client? What organization is he associated with? Is he with the Michigan Department of Employment and Training, or is he working in an official capacity or unofficial capacity for this METS app?
Basically, he is the head of the nonprofit that it's the MetPlus. So I'm not sure how big the nonprofit is, if it's just him, if he has people working with him or not. But basically, the client is the head of the nonprofit. It's called Pits.
Okay, so earlier when you and I spoke, João, there was this issue about if he is committed to open source or not. Is that issue resolved in some way, or what's up?
So basically, that's what I was talking with what I said before you entered. This is I haven't spoken with him yet, so this is a project that might not be. So we are just I had scheduled this with Sasha before, so I decided to go forward and just explain more or less what the project is, and if we came to an halt with it because the client doesn't want to, he just wants to keep up with the NDA, then we just stop it here, or else we just have some more information already and people that know what the project is. Do you think it's okay?
Sounds reasonable. I think that sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So basically, that's what I said before. Basically, this is a project for. Sorry.
Well, I had a question about the client's commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Is he committed to work with us in an agile way, with the client meetings and sprint retrospect, well, sprint demos and stuff like that?
Basically, I told him that one of the requirements that Agile Venture has is that he is available at least once every 2 weeks, so we can meet, so we can look into the requirements and everything. And he said there would be no problem with that. So I believe that he is committed, and he wants this this application to be included. So I think he will go for it.
Can I ask a question a little bit more about the background?
All right,
on this?
that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
how do you pronounce your name? I'm sorry, I haven't introduced myself yet. I'm Patrick.
Oh, is João.
João. Okay, thank you. Thank you for putting this together, by the way. So in terms of, you started working with the client about a month ago, and subsequent to that, recently the client contacted you and said they found another volunteer through LinkedIn to work on the project. And so why would the client want to switch from you to the other volunteer?
He doesn't want to switch. Basically, what happened was I told him that I was going to do this in a part-time. I was not able to commit 100% of my time for this, and that I would need some help if this was going to go through. I needed some help to get this working. So he kept the things. I've talked already with 2 guys, I believe. The first one was not interested, and this last one that I talked to, it looked interested, but he doesn't have a great background in. He's a Python developer, so he doesn't know very much, but he's interested in the project. And it was in the last one that the NDA issue just came up. So.
You're the project manager. Well, what do they want the NDA? Why do they need an NDA? What are they trying to protect?
At this point, I'm not sure, because this is an application that I talked with Thomas during the day today, and this is one application that if you want to get some money with it, like a monster, you can create something like this. But the only thing that you can from all this application, the only thing that in terms of code that I think that could be interesting to protect, it would be the part of the the curriculum cruncher that will take care of the curriculum. But I don't think that's from what I understood from my previous talks with the client. What he wanted is basically to protect his idea.
So
I have a question.
Sorry. I was just going to ask one last question, and I'll shut up. So is the crux of the problem really that we want to do this as open source, and he has trouble with that because of protection of his IP, his idea?
Yeah, basically that was what he transmitted to me. That was what he said. That it was the idea. He didn't want anyone to pick up this thing and just plant it somewhere else. I'm not sure. I'm going to talk again with him and see where he stands, if he wants to go through with this in open source or not.
Okay, thank you.
Well, if he does, I think that the next step would be for all of us to meet up with him and get to know him a little bit and talk to him, and I think that would be a great idea. I think that the application itself, from what I've read in your initial documentation, it's a great idea, and for an open source project. And we would actually want somebody to pick it up in some other part of the world and work with it. That would be great. I think it's going to be it could everybody or regions or cities could benefit from this. So if he's committed to open source, I think that we'll all be willing to commit our time and efforts into this project. But it would be nice to get to know this person and know a little bit more about the organization and his plans and his vision for this nonprofit as well as for this application, I think.
So I have a question. You had open repos and Agile Ventures, which made the source code public, and you have a GPL license, but you're telling us that you're under an NDA?
I'm not under an NDA. I did not sign anything. But
you want an NDA, or?
He told me that he sent me a draft of an NDA. He told me to look at it because he wanted to give it to the other guy. And I went, NDA, but I just talked to him and I told him about Agile Ventures, and I told him that we were going to put this in a public repository so everyone could look at it. And he said, okay, I'm okay with it. And now he comes with an NDA, so I'm not quite sure what happened here. So I need to talk with him. I didn't have time today. But as soon as we end this, we'll wrap this up, I will give him a call and try to understand what happened here.
Okay.
Well, can I just
say
I agree with Tom. Sorry, go ahead.
I wanted to say there are also different open source licenses. You had put in there a GPL. You might look at something like Creative Commons, which kind of prohibits use for profit. There's a lot of different options in the licensing.
Yeah, that's the thing we can explore. The licensing of the. I placed GPL because it was the license that I'm more acquainted with, and I thought it could help ease his mind. But at this point, I'm not sure. So I'll talk to him. Sasha, you're saying something?
No, I was going to ask before when you were going to talk to him, but you already answered that.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering if it was worth, because it looks like the code base had a quick skim of it, and it looks, like there's something there, but it's pretty small. I was wondering, given that everyone's here, whether it would be worth doing a kind of quick skim of what exists already, or whether that's just worth waiting till you know for sure whether we're going to be doing anything else anyway.
What I thought about this meeting was try to explain more or less what the application, how would we structure the application, what we have at this point, and where can we go next. Basically, this was the idea, to try to explain more or less what the project is, and that's it. So I think we can step everything, do all these things. And if it goes good, if the client is okay with it, then we can just move forward. If not, then that's it.
Okay. I mean, if it doesn't go through, then I'm going to be looking for something else to hop onto instead. So, while everyone's here, are there any Agile Ventures projects I could jump into if this one doesn't proceed?
Well, there are the existing projects, Sasha, but we are looking into redoing the website 1 application, and it's codenamed, website 2 actually, because of lack of fantasy or something. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, there should be definitely other stuff that we can where you can find a nice challenge and then you can climb to. But hopefully this project is going to take off. So far, so I think that it would be ashamed if he wasn't committed to open source. And we, as Michael suggests, there are several open source licenses that could be applied on this application. Makes him feel rather safe that nobody will pick this up and use it in commercial, like a commercial venture, but rather stick to the open source and non-profit way of running this, for instance. But so yeah, try to set up a meeting with him. I think that's the most important part at this point, so we can all meet him and talk to him.
Yeah. Okay. So any more questions? Nope.
No.
I'm cool.
Okay. So I'm going to try to explain more or less the idea of architecture that I had to solve this problem. Basically, this is not a very complex application. As I said before, it's just an application that is supposed to connect people with companies. So it will have a lot of it will have features inside that are due to job applications and everything. But then we can just take a look into the requirements if you want. So my idea in the beginning of this was to try to get this a little bit more modular, and to do that I decided it would be interesting to split the two major components that we have at this point. That is something that will pick up the curriculum, the resumes, and we'll crunch them. We'll retrieve the information that is important from there and store it. And the other part that will be the application itself. And the decision that I made was to the part of the crunching of the text files. I've gone with Java because they have a lot of natural language libraries and such that we could use to, not in the beginning, but in the future we could use them to just get a better cruncher and get better data from the resumes, and to give it the part of REST that we needed for that microservice. We would use Spring and the backend of MongoDB to store everything up.
What did you say?
Sorry?
Use what? Did you say? Oh, Ruby.
Ruby, yes, we'll have
Ruby
a part of.
Sorry, yeah, I thought you said something else. Carry on. Sorry.
And the main application, that will be the core of the application, which will be written in Ruby on Rails with Postgres database to it, and it will communicate via REST with the cruncher. So basically, this is more or less the architecture that we have at this point. Let me just check.
Could I have a question about the resume cruncher, as you refer to it? Mm-hmm. In that you're talking about basically parsing the PDF or the Word doc or whatever, picking up particular keywords, and from that inferring all kinds of things regarding job seeker and matching to jobs. Mm-hmm. In addition to pre-filling out, address and contact information, so they don't have to enter it in. We just parse it out of the resume. You're talking about things like that?
Yeah, basically the idea it's you have when you are an employer and you create a job opportunity. After you create it and fill everything up, you will get a pool of candidates that can match the skills that you place there, and those skills are retrieved from the and the match of the skills is retrieved from the cruncher. So we'll have we'll pick up the resume. The resume will retrieve keywords. In the first approach, I believe it would be something very simple as word counting with expression counting, something very simple just to start it up, and then it could be something much more complex. If you try to set up rules and everything there, we'll see with time. But in the beginning, it will be just a simple way to pick up expressions and words and try to match them after with the skills that each job requires.
I see. Thank you.
So that's in the Resume Cruncher looks like it's a Spring Framework app?
Yeah, basically. In more, I believe this is a more generic overview of this application. What is intended in the documentation? There's more information. There are a bunch of features that I already pick up from what the client wanted and everything. They are not in the format that they should be, but I believe in Waffle. I pick them all up and they are all there. I spent my Friday, as some of you have noticed, moving everything that we had into Waffle and I started receiving emails and everything. So at this point, what we have a base with Spring that the only thing that has is storage of settings that will be needed for a cruncher. And the part of Ruby on Rails, what we have is a landing page. It is possible to log in, to register, and basically that's it. So we are in the beginning of all this, and I believe that's it. I'm not sure if I have much more information. I thought maybe it would be interesting to put the framework, the front end be done in AngularJS, but I'm not sure if at this point we should just jump into Angular or not. So there are still things that can be thought again, that we can revisit in the near future to see if maybe it would be better to use this or use that. Maybe this decision was not very good, and we still have time to look into all this system. Do you guys have any question more?
Don't think so. With Angular, isn't like there going to be a version 2 coming out soon that's not backwards compatible?
I'm not sure at this point. I believe Angular needs the version 2 they are still in beta testing it. So I'm not sure.
Is there any requirements in terms of which browser levels, like how old the browsers are that the Rails app has to support?
Currently, there is no
There's no like you have to support Internet Explorer 8 or Internet Explorer 7.
There's no requirements for that. So basically, the only requirements that I don't have technical requirements from the client. The client doesn't have any technical requirement. It just have requirements for the functionalities that need to be supported. Nothing more.
Okay.
Hey, Joe, I'm just curious. You're the expert here, but you said Java has some natural language processing libraries that you can exploit. Those aren't present in a Ruby environment, as far as you know?
That I'm aware, no.
Okay.
Python has some natural language stuff, but
Yes, also. When I started this, I thought maybe it would be interesting to use Java, because we might try to use the Hadoop framework to do all this, and then I realized it would be too much, the Hadoop, and to crunch files, simple files, because the files will not be very big, and it didn't make great sense to use Hadoop. And then I started looking into it. I saw there were some libraries around for natural language, and I just stick up with Java.
I would agree with that. I think if you don't have real big data requirements, Hadoop is a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's inflexible from a reporting point of view, in my opinion. But.
So, you guys have any more questions?
Not from me.
Not for me. I think that's it.
Okay, then. I will try to talk with the client today, try to understand if he wants to go forward or not with this project on open source, and if you guys are free to take a look, and then the two reps, I believe I place them in the MetPlus channel of Slack. The two repos are there. The waffle repository is also there. We're going to try this waffle for project managing to try to look if it's interesting or not. I've already have some issues with it, so I'm not quite sure, because you cannot make one task to be related with another. You cannot make precedences between them, so it's going to be a little bit more hard, but we will see how it goes. So,
Sounds good.
If there's no more questions, thank you all for coming, and hope to talk to you guys soon.
bye.
Oh, wait, one more question.
Oh, okay.
One more time, how do you pronounce your name?
My name is João.
Joao.
João.
Joao.
And Joao, you're aiming for a client meeting for when now? I know you said that earlier.
Sorry?
You're trying to set up a client meeting for when? What's your target for that?
I'm going to call the client today to see where he stands at this point, if he's interested or not. And after that, if he's interested in going open source and everything, then I'll try to get a client meeting maybe this week. I need to talk with, after that, I need to talk with Sam and Thomas as well to try to understand if there are some times. And I believe that will be. I believe that because it's taking too much time at this point. I talked with Thomas like 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, I'm not sure, but there were a lot of things happening, so we're not able to kick this off yet. So I'm trying to push it to try to kick it off this week.
Okay, good luck.
Sounds good. Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, thank you guys for coming.
Yeah,
We'll
let me know
talk
how it
later.
goes.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye now.